Chloe gave me a 3-month trial period. During this time, I couldn't kiss her, I couldn't touch her, I couldn't look at her phone, and I definitely couldn't ask where she was going. Meanwhile, I had to text back instantly and be available at a moment's notice. Most importantly, I had to keep our relationship a secret. If I broke any rule, the trial would be terminated immediately. I spent 3 months being her doormat, right up until the day the guy she'd always been obsessed with, her childhood best friend, got married. Then, she told me I'd passed the test and could be her official boyfriend. I just smiled. No thanks. I'm done playing this game. Later, she'd show up in a wedding dress, confess her love for me in front of everyone, and even offer herself to me in my own bed. When Chloe called, I was at my grandpa's wake. "Ethan Hayes, you have 15 minutes, she said. "Get here now." The man lying in the casket was the one who had raised me. I just wanted to be there for his final goodbye, and Chloe knew that. "Is a dead person really more important than a living one?" she snapped. "You have 12 minutes left. If you're not here, you fail the test." Her voice was sharp with impatience. She didn't even wait for my response before hanging up. What could possibly be so urgent? I gave my grandpa a deep, final bow, then rushed out to grab an Uber back to Chloe's place. When I got there, she was hauling boxes and bags up the stairs to her apartment, panting, "I'm here, Chloe." I reached for the things in her hands, but she just jerked her head backward. A moving truck was parked down the street, loaded with furniture. "Leo's moving, and the elevator's broken. Go help him." Of course. It was about Leo. Leo was Chloe's childhood best friend. Throughout the 3 years I've been trying to win Chloe over, Leo was a constant presence. It was only after he got engaged to his girlfriend that Chloe finally agreed to go out with me. But she'd insisted on this 3-month trial period, where she could dump me at any time for any reason. They were ridiculous, impossible terms, but I was so in love with her that I agreed. I hauled a wardrobe up 5 flights of stairs. After a full night of it, my back was screaming. Chloe, meanwhile, was smiling at Leo, explaining, "It's the least we could do." "I'll take you guys out to dinner tomorrow to say thanks," Leo offered. Chloe accepted before he even finished the sentence. I told her my grandpa's cremation was tomorrow and that I needed to be there. Her face instantly darkened. "Don't be so ungrateful, Ethan. Leo offers to buy you dinner, and you have to make a big deal out of it." The next day, my grandfather was cremated. I wasn't there to collect his ashes. At dinner, Leo and his fiancée, Sarah, raised their glasses to thank everyone. I just threw back a large glass of whiskey. Later, while I was violently sick in a restaurant bathroom, Chloe didn't even bother to check on me. Standing by the bathroom door, I overheard her talking to her friend. "Chloe, if you don't even like Ethan, why are you with him?" "You don't get it." Chloe lit a cigarette, leaning against the doorframe. "If I'm single, Leo will feel like he has to keep his distance. This way, I can stay by his side." Her friend's voice was full of dawning comprehension. "So what about Ethan? You don't have any feelings for him?" Chloe laughed. "I gave him a 3-month trial. Ends the day Leo gets married. I'm going to make one last play for Leo. If he turns me down, I'll just make it official with Ethan. At least I won't look pathetic if I have a backup plan." They both burst out laughing. Their words hit me like a physical blow. Ever since we'd gotten together, she wouldn't let me tell anyone about us and demanded that her needs always come first. I hadn't seen my own friends or family in months. And all for this. I was just a tool for her ridiculous, unrequited crush. There were 8 days left in the trial period. I finally saw Chloe for who she really was. I had been planning a huge, elaborate proposal for her on the day the 3 months were up. The event company called me to go over the venue details, but when I opened my phone, I saw Leo's latest Instagram post. The caption read, "The friend who's been with me since we were kids is now helping me pick out my wedding tux." The picture was of him and Chloe. I checked Chloe's Instagram profile. Sure enough, she'd hidden her stories from me. She'd stopped me from going to my own grandpa's funeral and then left me hanging. Also, she could be with Leo. I was a complete and utter fool. I called the event company and canceled the proposal. Then I changed the reservation for 2 at the Michelin-starred restaurant she'd always wanted to try to a private room for a dozen. I had neglected my friends for months because of her. This dinner was my apology. We all got completely hammered. When I went to pay the bill, I ran into Chloe, who was in the middle of a full-blown meltdown. She was furious about a piece of foie gras. A waiter was patiently explaining, "Ma'am, our restaurant doesn't participate in the mall's promotions. That coupon isn't valid here. I shared your post on my story for 7 days straight. Why can't I use it? Do you want me to leave a 1-star review?" Chloe's shouting attracted a crowd. Realizing she was losing the argument, she pulled out her phone. A moment later, mine rang. "Ethan, get over here right now. You have 3 minutes." Then she looked up and saw me standing there. She exploded. "Seriously, Ethan? I told you not to ask about my whereabouts, and now you're stalking me?" I'm not stalking you. Bullshit. You're telling me you just happened to come here to eat? You can't afford a place this expensive. It hit me then that after 3 years, she knew nothing about me. She didn't care to. Her entire world revolved around Leo. For someone pulling in 6 figures, a nice dinner was hardly a stretch. Before I could say anything, she wrinkled her nose and took 3 steps back. Have you been drinking? Didn't I tell you I hate the smell of alcohol? Ethan, do you want to fail this test? She immediately seemed to regret it, waving her hand dismissively. Whatever. Just pay for the foie gras. Leo hasn't eaten yet. I'll let it slide this time. Again, for Leo. I was bending over backward for her, while she was groveling for him. I was done with it. The waiter looked at me and spoke respectfully. Sir, your Centurion card includes a complimentary foie gras every month. Since she's your friend, I can take this off your bill. I shook my head. Don't bother. I don't know her. Ignoring Chloe's stunned expression, I turned and walked back to my private room. When I sobered up, a pang of regret hit me. I was afraid Chloe would actually cut me off for good. But then I saw a message from her on my phone. In a shocking twist, she was asking me to meet her at a hotel for the night. Even more surprisingly, she said she'd be alone. She met me in the lobby and linked her arm through mine. Ethan, this hotel is a little expensive. We only need 1 room, Chloe said, pulling my arm tighter. Being alone in a room with her. It would be the first time in all the years I'd known her. I thought maybe she'd finally had a change of heart, that she finally realized what she had with me. The room was $1,500 a night, but I paid without a second thought. That evening, however, just as I changed my clothes, Chloe announced she wasn't feeling well. She said she needed a long, hot bath to de-stress and told me to go to sleep without her. In the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door. It was Sarah, Leo's fiancée, wrapped in a blanket with a worried look on her face. Have you guys seen Leo? A dull ache spread through my chest. So Leo was here too. Sarah glanced past me into the room and saw that Chloe was also gone. Panic flashed in her eyes. Not wanting to cause a scene, we searched the hotel ourselves all night. Just as the sun was beginning to rise, I saw them on a small hill overlooking the city. Chloe pointed at the emerging sun, her voice full of wonder. A moment later, she sounded wistful. After you're married, we won't be able to watch the sunrise together anymore. Leo just ruffled her hair. Of course we will. You'll always be my best friend. Besides, you have Ethan, and I have Sarah. There's nothing going on between us. Their idea of nothing going on was using the label of friendship to do shady things behind everyone's backs. I started to walk toward them, but Sarah grabbed my arm, stopping me. In that moment, I realized she was just as invested in her own painful charade as I had been in mine. Is it worth it? I asked her. Yes, she said without hesitation. As long as I get to marry him, it's all worth it. She could tolerate it, but I couldn't. Not anymore. Without a word to anyone, I left and boarded the first flight home for Christmas. When I turned my phone back on, I had 16 missed calls from Chloe. The last message from her was a text. Just 8 words that cut me to the bone. Ethan, your test is over. You failed. I checked my apps. She had blocked me everywhere. With 6 days left in the trial period, my 3 years of complete devotion had ended in failure. I was in a daze when my mom touched my forehead. You look like you've seen a ghost. Are you having girl trouble? Before, Chloe had forbidden me from telling my family about her. Now, there was nothing to tell. Seeing my state, my mom insisted I go on a blind date she'd arranged. The girl's name was Jasmine. She was slender and quiet. We had barely exchanged a few words when my phone buzzed. It was a FaceTime call from Chloe. She'd unblocked me. Ethan, she said, Sarah told me you had a family emergency. I'll forgive you for leaving. I glanced at Jasmine, who was pretending to be focused on her water glass. You have 5 minutes, Chloe continued. Meet me at the Oakwood Grill. Before I could refuse, she hung up. Is that the girl you like? Jasmine asked softly. Are you about to propose to her? I was confused about how she knew. She smiled faintly. She came into my boutique a few days ago and ordered a custom wedding dress. Said it was for her boyfriend's proposal. I froze. Was it possible? Had Chloe really been planning to accept my proposal to wear a wedding dress for me? My resolve softened. I stood up to leave, and Jasmine asked if she could come along. She needed to confirm some measurements with Chloe. We took a cab, but by the time we reached the restaurant, much more than 5 minutes had passed. Chloe was standing alone on the sidewalk, looking small and forlorn. I walked up to her. I'm here, Chloe. Have you been drinking? She looked at me, her eyes bloodshot. Ethan, you're an hour late. I'm sorry, A sharp crack echoed in the quiet street as she slapped me hard across the face. Do you have any idea what you've done? She shrieked. Sarah already picked Leo up. If you hadn't been late, he wouldn't have gone home with her. He was drunk. If something happens between them, I will never, ever forgive you. She collapsed against my chest, pounding on it with her fists. Why couldn't you have gotten here before Sarah? Why? I finally got him alone without her. And you ruined everything. My cheek burned, but my heart hurt more. Seeing her completely unhinged, I grabbed her by the shoulders. Chloe, they're about to get married. Whatever was going to happen between them has already happened. You need to snap out of it. She covered her ears. Shut up. Thankfully, Jasmine stepped in and broke us apart. We called one of Chloe's friends to come and take her home. On the way back, Jasmine apologized to me. It's not your fault, I said, laughing bitterly. I'm the one who's been fooling myself. I looked over at her. Can I see Chloe's Instagram? She's always had me blocked. Jasmine handed me her phone. For the first time, I saw Chloe's feed. 1,300 posts, and not a single one had anything to do with me. Pinned to the top was a photo of her in the wedding dress. The caption read, "The day I tell you how I feel will be the day I marry you." It was never for me. It was for Leo. I smiled grimly and handed the phone back. My 3 years had been a complete joke. The next day was Christmas Eve. I was streaming a movie for my parents on the TV when messages from Chloe started flooding my phone. My friend told me you were with a woman last night. Who is she? You have 5 seconds to reply, or we're done. 5, 4, 3, 2. Ethan, answer me right now. My parents both turned to look at me. My dad picked up a slipper from the floor. Son, have you been messing around? No, I haven't. I protested. Just then, my phone rang. It was Chloe. My dad pointed the slipper at me. Answer it. I had no choice. Chloe's voice was thick with tears. Ethan, who was that woman last night? My blind date, I answered truthfully. You told me not to tell anyone about us, remember? My mom thought I was single, so she set me up. Chloe was speechless for a moment. I know you're in love with Leo, I said. Let's just stop this. I was about to hang up when she whispered, but the trial period isn't over yet. I haven't told you to leave. I ended the call. My parents exchanged a look and quietly went back to their room. The next morning, Christmas Day, our doorbell rang. I never would have guessed that the first person to show up would be Chloe. I had tried to introduce her to my parents twice before, and she had chewed me out both times. I never dared to bring it up again. And yet, here she was, standing on my doorstep. She was holding 2 expensive-looking gift boxes, which she immediately handed to my mom. Hi, Mrs. Hayes. I'm Ethan's girlfriend. My parents were completely floored. They were just about to invite her in when I grabbed Chloe by the arm and pulled her outside. What are you doing? Her eyes were red and swollen. Ethan, I came to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Aren't we boyfriend and girlfriend? I had no idea what kind of game she was playing. Chloe, I know you don't like me. Let's just go back to being friends and move on. I pulled out my phone to call her an Uber, but she quickly pressed her hand over the screen. Don't send me away. It took everything for me to get here. Is this about Leo again? No, she denied it instantly. This time it's about you. I burst out laughing. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd heard in the new year of 2025. You should go. I don't want to see you. I turned to leave, but she grabbed the corner of my jacket. It's Christmas Day. I won't be able to get a ride. Can I please just stay for one night? I took her to a nearby motel. The room was small, and we sat awkwardly on the edge of the single bed. You get some rest. I'm leaving, I said, standing up. Chloe kept her head down, biting her lip before muttering, Can you stay with me tonight? My heart skipped a beat. Chloe had never let me touch her. In all this time, I had never even held her hand, let alone spent the night with her. She slowly took off her jacket and leggings, then leaned her upper body toward me. You've always wanted me, haven't you? Tonight, I'm saying yes. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning, my blood turning to ice. The girl I'd loved for 3 years was lying in front of me, vulnerable and willing. What normal guy wouldn't be tempted? But did I really want to go down that road again? As I hesitated, she placed her hand high on my thigh. Please, Ethan. I swallowed hard and grabbed her wrist. Maybe I would have caved before, but not anymore. I pushed her hand away. Stop it. I strode to the door. Ethan, I'm not holding it against you anymore, she shouted from behind me. I don't care who you were with last night. Can we just be okay? I froze. Hearing those words from her was so surreal, it was absurd. I took another step. Ethan, are you really leaving me? Her voice was desperate. If you walk out that door, we're done for good. I looked down at my feet, rooted to the spot. If I took this step, it was over. My 3-year obsession would finally be finished. Think carefully, Ethan, she pleaded. I had. I opened the door and closed it behind me, shutting the door on everything that had to do with Chloe. The next time I saw her was at Leo's wedding. Just as I'd suspected, she was wearing a wedding dress. As Leo and Sarah were making their rounds, toasting their guests, Chloe stormed the stage and snatched the microphone from the MC. She tapped it. Testing, testing. Once she confirmed it was working, she held it up. Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe, and today I want to confess my feelings to a boy I've liked for a very long time. A murmur went through the crowd. Chloe was now the center of attention. Someone from the audience yelled, "Who is it? Who are you confessing to?" Chloe swallowed, raised the mic, and her eyes found mine. "Ethan Hayes. I like you. Will you be with me?" My eyes went wide. I was completely stunned. Since when was I the one she wanted to confess to? She went on, "Ethan, I was so stupid. I'm only just now realizing how good you are to me. Will you please give me another chance?" The crowd started chanting, "Say yes. Say yes. Say yes." Leo and his groomsmen hoisted me onto the stage. Chloe was standing right in front of me, her gaze sincere. "Ethan, will you?" Would I? A few weeks ago, I would have given anything for this moment. But now, looking at her, I felt nothing. "I'm sorry," I said clearly. "I can't." I apologized to the stunned crowd and walked out of the ballroom. "You're lying. Ethan, you're still angry, aren't you?" Chloe came running after me, holding up her wedding dress. "You love me so much. There's no way you don't want this." A question suddenly surfaced. "Who was that dress really for, Chloe?" "For you, of course," she lied again. "The flowers pinned to your dress are blue delphiniums, Leo's favorite flower. You know I'm allergic to pollen." Chloe frantically unpinned the flowers and hid them behind her back. "You were going to confess to him today, weren't you?" She bit her lip and shook her head. "So what if I used to like Leo? The person I like now is you. Ethan, I don't believe you can just let me go." To end her relentless pleading, I pointed to an innocent-looking Jasmine, who was waiting nearby, to pick up a dress from a bridesmaid. "Sorry, but I have a girlfriend." I put my arm around Jasmine's shoulder and led her away. "Thanks for that," I whispered. "No problem," she replied. "The wedding dress is $60,000. You can pay me back for it." Back home, Chloe's best friend contacted me. She told me that the night Chloe found out I'd gone home with another girl, she cried all night, realizing she had fallen in love with me long ago. Leo was just an obsession. Now, she was desperate to win me back and was waiting for me at the public square where we first met. She sent me a video Chloe had recorded. "Ethan Hayes, you have 15 minutes to get here. Don't be late." Chloe was sobbing as she spoke. My friends, who all knew how deeply I loved Chloe, were eager to push us back together. They drove me to the square. Chloe was standing on the steps of the grand fountain, still in her wedding dress. "Ethan, I know you're here," she called out. "There are 3 minutes left in our trial period. If you show yourself now, I'll be with you, no conditions attached." In the cold wind, the thin dress made her look fragile and innocent. My friend nudged me. "Go on, man. You love her. Don't do something you'll regret." Chloe held up her phone and started a countdown. 10, 9. "Do go," my friend urged. Just then, my own phone buzzed. It was an alarm I'd set. The 3-month trial was finally over. I let out a long breath. I'm done. I've had enough of this game. I turned to my friends. "Let's go get a drink, guys." They looked at each other, then broke into wide grins. We ended up at a quiet bar. 3 drinks in, a girl got on stage to sing. She wore a simple, elegant dress, her wavy hair falling across her face. After her set, a few brawny, drunk guys started catcalling her. When she stepped off the stage, one of the drunk men cornered her, demanding her number. She refused, but he wouldn't back down. I stepped in front of her, shielding her. Only when I was up close did I realize it was Jasmine. Jasmine could really hold her liquor. When she heard my trial period was over and I was single again, she immediately ordered a tray of tequila shots. "Drink up. It's on me tonight." It turned out that, besides running a bridal boutique, Jasmine also owned this bar. I was getting drunk, and the space between us was shrinking. Suddenly, she said, "You look like you'd be a good kisser." I froze. Jasmine just smiled, leaned in, and gently pressed her lips against mine. I was completely stunned. She pulled back, her eyes sparkling. "What? Was it your first kiss?" I turned my head away. In my entire life, Chloe was the only girl I'd ever loved, and I'd never forced her to do anything she didn't want to do. So yes, that was my first kiss. Jasmine nudged my arm. "Want to do something a little more exciting?" She took me to her boutique. She told me to sit on the couch while she disappeared into a fitting room. A moment later, she emerged wearing a short, tight dress. She said it was one of her own designs that she'd never had a chance to wear. She walked over and stood in front of me. "Can you help me with the zipper?" She crouched down, facing me, and rested her hands on my knees. Her simple movements sent my heart racing. Fueled by alcohol, I reached back and pulled up the zipper. As she stood up, she stumbled and fell into my lap. "Ethan, let's give this a try," she whispered, her fingers starting to unbutton my shirt. In an instant, I was sober. I grabbed my jacket and stumbled out of the shop, flagging down a cab. My place fast, I mumbled to the driver, then passed out. When I woke up, Chloe was standing over me. She explained that I'd been unconscious in the cab, and the driver had used my phone to call my emergency contact. She took my hand. Ethan, I knew you still had feelings for me. Before I could speak, she placed a slice of apple in my mouth. She wanted me to see that she had changed. As she spoke, she turned and started taking off her clothes. Ethan, all the things I wouldn't let you do before. You can do them now. Tears were streaming down her face. Can we please start over? I was about to answer when someone else cut in. No, it was Jasmine. She came over and pulled my hand away from Chloe. Where did you go last night? I was looking all over for you. The two of them stood on either side of my bed. I'd never been in a situation like this in my life. Chloe sat down on the edge of the bed, as if to claim her territory, tucking my blankets in. Ethan, now that I'm here, you should ask her to leave. You need to be cared for by someone close to you. Close. Jasmine scoffed. We've already kissed. Who do you think is closer? Jasmine's words made Chloe snap. Her eyes widened as she stared at me. Ethan, how could you get involved with another woman so quickly? Had she forgotten that while we were together, she was the one who ran off to spend the night with Leo? And now she was judging me. The two of them arguing over me was making my head spin. I kicked them both out. Not long after, another woman contacted me. I hadn't seen Sarah in a while, and she looked exhausted. We met at a coffee shop. She quietly explained what had happened after Chloe's public confession at the wedding. Leo could no longer suppress his feelings for Chloe. He started ignoring Sarah completely, spending his time staring at old gifts from Chloe. Yesterday, he'd gotten drunk, and the first person he thought of wasn't his wife, but Chloe. He tried to call her to pick him up, but he couldn't reach her. I felt a twinge of guilt. Last night, Chloe had abandoned Leo to run to my side. It was everything I used to dream of, but now, hearing it just felt pathetic. I guess you really don't know what you have until it's gone. Suddenly, Sarah reached across the table and took my hand. Ethan, let's give it a try. Think of it as revenge. I snatched my arm back as if I'd touched a hot stove. Looking at the emptiness in her eyes, I felt a wave of relief that I had chosen to walk away. Don't you hate Chloe? She asked. I shook my head. Wasting time on hate was pointless. It was better to find someone new to love. I requested a leave of absence from my company and was gone for 3 months, the same length as Chloe's trial period. Being away, I realized just how much you can do in 3 months when you're not revolving around one person. I climbed a snow-capped mountain in the Rockies, and, standing at the peak, I realized that everyone could stand on their own summit. I went bungee jumping, and, as I fell, all the love and resentment I'd carried felt like nothing more than fleeting human experiences. I even went scuba diving. There was no oxygen in the deep, but there was freedom. Finally, I went to my grandpa's grave and left him a bouquet of flowers. He had always taught me to love with your whole heart, just as he had loved my grandma. No matter how my parents tried to convince him, he never left his little house, the one that held all his memories of her. And I, in my pathetic attempt to please Chloe, had abandoned the best person in my life. I wondered if he could forgive me. A gust of wind blew a petal from the bouquet into my hand. It felt like a sign, like my grandpa had been waiting for me, giving me his answer. Just like when I was a kid, he would always give me a small flower when he came home from an outing, calling it a reward for being strong. Grandpa, I'm so sorry I'm late. I hugged the headstone and wept. I added some fresh soil to the grave and left just before dark. As soon as I walked out of the airport, I saw Jasmine waiting for me, straddling a motorcycle. She opened her arms wide. Ethan, welcome back. I returned her hug and climbed on behind her. She told me that while I was gone, Chloe had come looking for her many times. Once, she'd even passed out drunk in front of her shop. All she wanted to know was where I had gone. Did you tell her? Of course not, Jasmine said with a sly grin. If she found you, what would happen to me? See, love is selfish. Why should I have ever been expected to accept a third person in my relationship? I pulled a small, empty bottle out of my suitcase. Jasmine took it, her brow furrowed. What's this? It's the air from every place I visited, I said. I wanted to share it with you. It was true. Standing on that mountain peak, I had thought of Jasmine. I knew she would have loved it just as much as I did. A smug smile played on Jasmine's lips. So you finally realize how great I am, huh? I had. So, would you be willing to be mine? I cupped her face and kissed her. Let me be the one to ask, she said when we broke apart. I reached up and wiped the lipstick-eyed smudge from her lips. Jasmine, I like you. I want to be with you. Will you be my girlfriend? Jasmine wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered in my ear, I will. Things with Jasmine moved quickly. There was no trial period. She introduced me to her friends and family and posted about us all over her social media. There were no secrets. In our love, there was only us, open and honest with each other. When Leo heard we were getting married, he wanted to take us out to dinner. He invited his whole toxic circle, still entangled with Sarah and Chloe. I declined. A marriage should be built on sincerity. Insincere people had no place in our lives. Not long after, Sarah got pregnant. Leo was ecstatic. He accompanied her to every appointment and was by her side through the entire delivery. But when he saw the baby's blood type, he knew he'd been cheated on. The two families had a massive, ugly falling out. Their fraught marriage ended in a heap of ashes. On the day of mine and Jasmine's wedding, Chloe showed up uninvited. She had a man in a suit on her arm. "This is my boyfriend," she announced. "Since we both moved on, let's just be good friends from now on. What do you say?" Good friends. There was again. I took Jasmine's hand and held it up, showing Chloe the simple gold band on her finger. "No, thanks," I said, my voice firm. "I don't need any more friends. I only need my wife." From now on, Jasmine was my only one. With a silent crash, the world of self-assured delusion Chloe had built for herself finally came tumbling down. Hand in hand, Jasmine and I walked forward, leaving all the drama and dysfunction behind us. Every day from now on would be a better day.